Okay. Okay. I think we're here. Should be going live. We can testing. Testing. 1, 2, testing. All right, here we go. Here we go. We're here. Sorry about that, guys. I was having some technical difficulties, but we're here. A few minutes late. I was on time till you know. All right, but we're here. You see the title. You see the thumbnail. It's getting late, so I'm going to get right into it. I don't want to spend all day here on this topic. You know, I really wanted to touch on, first of all, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed, support the channel by hitting the thumbs up button. I really appreciate y'all for doing that. It really motivates me to keep this thing going. With that being said, you see the title and you see the thumbnail. In the title, I am announcing, in case you haven't heard, that the Fruit of Islam, the Nation of Islam, as well as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is suing the ADL, Anti Defamation League, for $4.8 billion. We're going to get into this news and we're going to talk about some current events. I'm going to play you some videos, get into an article. But first, before we get into any of that, it's also made headlines recently that President Biden is asking Congress for $100 billion, $100 billion to go to the Ukraine and the Israeli war. A simultaneous aid package. Sending $100 billion instead of asking for more money for Ukraine because he knows the people were fed up sending all this money to Ukraine. People are already upset about sending this money to Ukraine. So instead of asking Congress to send us more money to Ukraine, he says, hey, we need money for Israel and Ukraine. So we're giving money to Israel, and by the way, we got to give this money to Ukraine too. $100 billion. Now, on social media, in these Twitter streets, I'm seeing a lot of people, especially like in black grassroots and all that, they're saying, you know, this is none of our business. We need to just stay out of it. That's their battle over there. That's for them to figure out. And while I understand that sentiment, I think it's important to point out this is our money. This is our money. All right. When you're sending $100 billion, people say we don't have enough money for reparations. That's the main thing I'm hearing for. Oh, we don't have money for reparations. We got homeless people walking around the streets. We don't have money for homeless people. We don't have money for health care for all. We don't have money for any of these things. But we have $100 billion to keep sending money to Israel and Ukraine. So for you to say it's none of our business, I beg to differ. I think this is our business. I think that we need to be telling Congress, stop sending these people our money. It's not that I'm trying to jump out the window to save anybody. Listen, the Israelis and the Palestinians, they're going to have to figure that thing out. They're going to have to figure out what they got to figure out. But it's not American taxpayers' responsibility to be sending billions of dollars to Israel. If they want to go and do some counter strikes, do whatever sort of retribution they're looking for, that's on them. They need to come up with the money for that. We're sending money to keep them safe. That's enough. That's enough. What you're average getting every year, that's enough. If you got a problem, y'all need to go handle that. You can't keep coming to America to fight all these wars. Let me calm down before we even get into it. Cause you see how I'm ready to get. You see where my head is at with this. I'm already hot about it. I haven't played any videos or read any articles. I'm already hot. So I need to calm down. let me play this. So getting into it, and we've got some construction going on in the background, so I apologize if y'all can hear. We got some construction going on, so I apologize for that. All right, but let me play this video so you know what I'm talking about when I say Joe Biden is asking for $100 billion. He doesn't give any type of explanation as to why we need to pay this money. He doesn't give us any type of explanation to defend his case. He's just, hey, send me the money. Check this out.
Tomorrow, I'm going to send to Congress an urgent budget request to fund America's national security needs, to support our critical partners, including Israel and Ukraine, is a smart.
Now you see that, to Israel and Ukraine. He already knows people are already have fed up with this Ukraine Russian stuff. They already know we're tired of this Ukraine Russian stuff. But we need money for Israel because they were attacked, and we need more money for Ukraine. Okay, all right.
Smart investment that's going to pay dividends for American security for generations. Help us keep American troops out of harm's way. The security package I'm sending to Congress and asking Congress.
See, he says that briefly too. Oh, this is going to pay dividends for our safety and keep our troops out of harm's way. Does this have a history of success? It seems to me that these foreign wars have only getting us deeper and deeper into the hole. 20 years in Iraq, 20 years in Afghanistan. I'm not seeing the end to any of this. Yeah, we just got out of Afghanistan. Biden just got us out of Afghanistan, only to immediately shift to war in Ukraine. Do you think that was a coincidence? Do you think it was a coincidence that, oh, we finally getting out of Afghanistan and the exact amount of money that we were sending to Afghanistan, now we're going to send it to Ukraine? It's not a coincidence.
Congress do is an unprecedented commitment to Israel's security that will sharpen Israel's qualitative military edge, which we've committed to. We're going to make sure other hostile actors in the region know that Israel is stronger than ever and prevent this conflict from spreading. And
Going to prevent this conflict from spreading. I mean that would be good, but you think sending billions of dollars to encourage Israel instead of having a ceasefire, instead of stopping the breaking of these international laws, instead of encouraging a ceasefire, sending billions of dollars is going to help? That's going to help discourage Iran, discourage Hezbollah up there in Lebanon. Okay. Listen, I'm not saying I'm an expert on this topic. All I'm saying is I don't want my money going to any wars. I am against all of these wars. I want to increase the peace. I'm a stupid man, and stupid men, I'm just looking for peace. All right, I'm going to keep my argument very simple.
in discussions with the leaders of Israel and Egypt, I secured an agreement for the first shipment of humanitarian assistance from the United Nations to Palestinian civilians in Gaza. On Ukraine, I'm asking Congress to make sure we can continue to send Ukraine the weapons they need to defend themselves and their country without interruption, so Ukraine can stop Putin's brutality in Ukraine. We cannot and will not let terrorists like Hamas and tyrants like Putin win. I refuse.
Okay, so under Joe Biden, we just took the wars that he inherited and added two new wars with superpowers, Iran and Russia. Okay, who thinks this is a step in the right direction? I was ready a few years ago to give Joe Biden at least some credit. Hey, the war in Afghanistan is finally over. Trump was hesitant on pulling the trigger. It might have been ugly, but at least it's done. Only for Biden to immediately pivot to sending billions, tens of billions, and now over $100 billion of dollars to Ukraine, and now we have beef over here in Israel, which is going to provoke Russia, not Russia, but Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Do you see any sight? Where is hope in sight that these wars will just go away? That we stop sending billions of dollars to it? Because listen, don't get me wrong. If Israel and Palestine, if they have their own issues, that's not American. That's not our responsibility as taxpayers to fund this. And more so, especially not in Ukraine, trying to link the Ukraine budget and now Israel. So now we got to carry both of these countries indefinitely. So we just heard Joe Biden explain to us. We just heard Joe Biden explain to us why we need to send $100 billion to Israel to support Israel's continued expansion and oppression of the Palestinian people. Listen, A lot of people, like I said, a lot of people are on social media saying this is not our fight, this is not our problem, just let it go, Lou. That's what I'm just let it go, Lou. It's not our fight, it's not our people. Don't worry about it. That's their problem. Don't even speak on it. That's what I'm hearing in the comment section. That's what I'm seeing online, especially as far as FBA, Foundational Black Americans, Black folks. Hey, listen, you don't know enough about it. It's a complex issue. Just let it go. And I would just let it go if it wasn't our money going to it. It's our money. $100 billion Joe Biden is asking to send Israel and Ukraine. I don't support war in either one of those countries. I'm saying we need a diplomatic solution to this because I'm not supporting the sending of my billions of dollars, $100 billion to Israel and Ukraine. I was already tired of Ukraine. I was already getting on this YouTube thing, screaming on the top of my lungs, "Hey, I'm tired of sending billions of dollars to Ukraine." Now you want to double up? Now we got Ukraine and we got to send money to Israel for how long? Forever? Forever until they say, "Hey, you've given us enough money." When? Raise your hand if you think Ukraine is going to beat Russia. I mean, how does that end? How does that what does peace look like in that situation? Raise your hand if you think Palestinians are going to give up fighting for their land in Israel. Do you think that they're just going to say, Israel has invaded Gaza, so let's just give up the fight? Do you think that the Palestinians, the people of Gaza, are going to give up fighting? Even if you move them all to Egypt or some other land, do you think they're not going to launch attacks from Egypt back onto Israel? Do you think they're just going to give up the fight if you move them? What is the solution here? Because I'm not supporting the sending of my tax dollars, your tax dollars, our tax dollars to these wars that I'm not hearing anything about a long-term goal, a solution. Like I said, I'm a slow man. I'm not that deep. I'm not that. I'm not an analyst of, this is just me using common sense. This is me just using common sense. If a friend gets into a fight and they just like, hey, give me more, give me more, give me more. At what point is this friend a leech? You tell me, because hey, as far as I'm concerned, none of this has to do with America. We will give Israel because, to be fair, we'll give Israel enough to maintain the status quo. We're not sending additional money for you to go continue to bomb these people. Listen, we've given enough. We're giving enough. We're not increasing. No, no, no. That's where no. Come on, man. Come on, man. You tell me. Tell me if I'm wrong, because a lot of people say, "Hey, just don't even speak on it." So you just cool with our money going over there, and you don't even know why. You don't even know if you. Okay, all right. In other news, I'm going to digress from that because, like I said, I'm just a simple man using common sense. The common sense that it's not so common anymore. I'm just using that common sense. That's all. But in other news, I did want to point this out before I get off of here. A couple more things. So if you haven't heard, Minister Farrakhan is in the news. Minister Farrakhan is in the news. He is suing the ADL, the Anti Defamation League, for 4.8 billion dollars. Now, a lot of people are going to Google, some mainstream articles, but I wanted to go to the final call. I want to hear straight from the horse's mouth what their stance on this situation is. If you're not familiar, the final call is the Nation of Islam's personal newspaper. They used to sell them out for donations back in the day when I was a kid. I haven't seen, the final call because I think the internet killed print media. But the final call used to be a real big thing when I was a kid. All right. So I wanted to check out what they have to say about this situation. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan suing the ADL saying, hey, we're not anti Semites. You all have been calling us anti Semites for decades now. I say I'm not an anti Semite. Now you have to prove I am. It's a very interesting case here. I'm putting my lawyer hat on, I'm just putting on my lawyer hat. I didn't pass the bar, but I know a little bit enough to know that this is an interesting case. So check this out. We see the headline. Let me tighten this up a little bit. There we go. We see the headline, and it reads: The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam sue the Anti Defamation League and the Simon Wiesenthal Center for the misuse of the word anti Semite. So, what they're doing here is they're really putting the onus on the ADL to prove, because as we know, truth is a total defense to defamation, whether it be libel or slander. Whether it be libel or slander, truth is a total defense to defamation. So now Farrakhan is saying, hey, prove that I'm an anti Semite. You have to go into court and show based off my actions and based off of my words. But he's going to argue my words and trumped by my actions show that I'm not an anti Semite. I'm going to read a little bit more of this article. Check it out. It says, on October 16th, 2023, which was the 28th anniversary of the Million March, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam sued the ADL, its CEO Jonathan Greenblatt, SWC, and Rabbi Abraham Cooper of the SWC in the federal court of the Southern District of New York for First Amendment violations and for defamation. For over 40 years, the defendants have falsely labeled Minister Farrakhan and the NOI as anti-Semites and as anti-Semitic because of a difference in theological viewpoints. A difference in theological viewpoints, and for his pointing out misbehaviors of some of the members of the Jewish community. Among other things, this false labeling has hindered Minister Farrakhan in his mission, which is to deliver the truth taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that will correct the condition of spiritual, mental, and moral death of the black man and woman of America that has come as a result of 310 years of chattel slavery and over 150 years of oppression and suppression thereafter. So, no. Did I do that? I think I'm still here. Okay, I thought I had some technical difficulties. We're still here. All right, so I wanted to point this out. This is something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made very popular too. He would sue. He would say he would put out ads in the newspaper saying, "You can sue me if you can prove me wrong. I will pay you if you can prove what I'm saying is wrong." And he would have things, some outlandish things. I'm do your own research on that. Do your own research on that. But this is a very interesting tactic that he's using here. I think that as a result, and we're going to read a little bit more of this article before I play you another video, but as a result of this lawsuit, we're going to finally have a legal definition of anti-Semite. Because they use this term. Me saying I don't want to send billions of dollars to Israel to fight Palestine, that is my as a citizen, me saying I care about America more. I want to preserve our funds. I don't want to go out spending billions of dollars to support other people's wars that I, as a citizen, am not directly benefiting from. I don't want 100 billion U.S. dollars and I'm a U.S. citizen going to these other people's wars. That's not my problem. It's not our problem. But someone could say I'm an anti-Semite for saying I don't support foreign wars. I support peace and diplomatic solutions. Someone could call me an anti-Semite, but thanks to the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, we're going to have a record. We're going to have it sane in court. What is the definition of an anti-Semite? How easily can we throw this around and use it to get people fired, to get people to lose their jobs, their careers, blackballed in different industries? We're going to read a little bit more of this article, and then we're going to play a video for y'all. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, guys. I see everyone in the room. I appreciate and salute everyone supporting the channel. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate you all. All right, so we're going to read a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to play you a video. So check this out. It says the defendants have, at times, indiscriminately and arbitrarily mislabeled countless politicians, entertainers, athletes, authors, educators, public speakers, academics, comedians, and others as being anti-Semites and anti-Semitic, simply because in many cases the speaker did not agree with the defendant's point of view and in some instances, simply because the person made a favorable comment about Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Again, I'm not here to defend, I'm here not to cast judgment on these other industries. What I'm saying is it is a good thing. It is a good thing to have it on record. What would qualify you as an anti-Semite? If I say I don't want billions of my tax-paying dollars to go to your country, does that make me an anti-Semite? It would be nice to have some legal recourse from someone labeling me as an anti-Semite and me losing my job. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, has Minister Farrakhan said some jarring things about the certain particular Jews in different industries? Possibly. I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam. I'm just saying it's good to go on record and have a record made. And let me tell you why. Let me show you why. I'm going to play this video that can explain to you how important this issue is to have some type of understanding of what qualifies you as an anti-Semite. Check this video out. So I want to cut my music. Give me 1 second, guys. Now check this out.
Every black leader that spoke of economic development was charged with being an anti-Semite. They're very important for you to know who's the anti-Semite. Okay. Oh, here they are. Here they are. This is a list of respected blacks who have been victimized by being called black anti-Semites. And it spans the religious and political spectrum. Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey. Maybe you don't know them. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, MLK. The list goes on, but just think about where this is headed.
Jr. Malcolm X. Before I became the leading black anti-Semite, did you know that Brother Malcolm had the title? He was one of my teachers. Julian Bond, Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael, Andrew Young, former president of the NAACP, Kwesi Nkrumah, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Joseph Lowry, SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. The Black Panthers were called anti-Semitic yesterday, and the new Black Panther Party is called anti-Semitic today. The Universal Negro Improvement Association, Brother Marcus Garvey's movement, they were called anti-Semitic. Nation of Islam. But now let's go overseas. Mahatma Gandhi. Yes! Nelson Mandela.
It's a long list. It's a long list. Listen, the list goes on. The list goes on. I'm not going to play this whole thing. But do you understand how this term of anti-Semite has been used against everybody? Everybody. If you're black and you have a voice of power, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, everybody. Look at the list. Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Marcus Garvey, Kwame Ture, everybody. Everybody. And think about how this can get you barred from, as a public speaker, speaking in front of colleges, speaking in front of universities. People are getting censored on cut. They're getting their YouTube pages taken down, getting demonetized, think about the censorship that comes behind that, just the label, the unsubstantiated label. So this is really a censorship issue. That's really what it is. It's a censorship issue that Minister Farrakhan is addressing here, and it really has wide implications on us all, or at least all of us who are out here saying anything. Maybe you just want to keep your head down and be quiet, and just work on your job, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel the need to. I see all this stuff going on in the world, and I feel the need to speak on it. And if you support that, then you got to support that lack of censorship. You got to support freedom of speech. You got to support Minister Farrakhan saying you can't censor someone just by labeling them an anti-Semite and having no type of proof behind that. Is there proof that Minister Farrakhan is a anti-Semite? That will be proven in court. But the principle stands. Do you think Martin Luther King was an anti-Semite? Because he was labeled one. What about Nelson Mandela? He was labeled one. Think about where this leads. Anyone who says, hey, we don't want to support a country that is opposing these people against their will for a whole host of this goes back and back and back. We don't support any of that. If you don't support it, now you're anti-Semitic. And that can't be the case. That can't be the case. Because that's just an ad hominem attack. Attack what I'm saying. Don't attack the person, attack what I'm saying. I'm going to play a little, just so you understand how deep this. Not going to play this whole thing, but the list goes on.
Bishop Desmond Tutu. I'm in a good list of top people here. Scholars: John Hope Franklin, J.A. Rogers, James Baldwin, Richard Wright, Julius Lester, Alice Walker. Among entertainers: Michael Jackson, Spike Lee, Ice Cube, Arsenio Hall, Muhammad Ali, Public Enemy, and they even call Oprah.
Does everyone else think it's a nice Jewish family? From the outside, you appear to be a nice Jewish girl.
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family.
Really?
The other thing I want to point out, not all Jewish people sacrifice babies.
It's the first time I heard of any Jewish people sacrificing babies. But anyway, so... Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But you see how long that list of people go, whether they be entertainers, politicians, whether they be academics, whether they be black activists, civil rights leaders. Anyone who disagrees on this issue, who says, I don't want my money to go to these foreign wars of aggression, they can be labeled anti-Semite, right? And that's what is being addressed, hopefully will be addressed in this ADL lawsuit by the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. Guys, if you are just getting into the show, be sure to do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Y'all really motivate me to keep this thing going. If you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button. Hear more content like this with a controversial perspective you probably haven't heard before. All right? Because a lot of people, especially on such a low level, a lot of people aren't going to be willing to talk about this, especially with their face out. Who's going to stand on it? Like, hey, because people are really getting fired. People are clipping stuff up, sending it to employers. You lose your job for talking about stuff like this. So a lot of people are saying, hey, just don't touch it. Just let it go. But no, I'm not just going to let it go. I'm not just going to let it go. I don't want my money. It's my money, and it's all of us, especially foundational Black Americans. I'm rooting for foundational Black Americans to go ahead, get their reparations. How we going to get y'all talking about reparations? How you going to get reparations when we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, to Israel, sending $50 million for a month for these illegal undocumented immigrants to come in Chicago and other cities across America? We paying for everything except for the people who live here. We got homelessness rampant. People living up under bridges. We don't have no money for a housing bill. We don't have no rent control. We don't have no health care. People forget reparations. What about a housing bill? What about affordable housing? What about Medicare for all? Now I'm pushing reparations. Do you think I'm gonna get any of that stuff? When we send in all of our money, and then the first thing they go, hey, we can't afford Medicare for all. We just don't have the money. We can't afford to give housing to these homeless people living up under bridges. We can't build any affordable housing. Where are we going to put them? We don't have the money. We don't have the money when it comes to anything domestically, anything inside this country that will make the lives better for those who are living here, working here, contributing to the society. We don't have anything for them. To the veterans, we have nothing. The VA is slow and backed up. We don't have anything to support anybody who's living here, contributing. But everyone, it's almost all right. The main point of this video is done. So anyone who's in here, I'm just going to start telling you how I feel at this point. All right. So log off if you don't want to hear. I'm telling you now. Log off if you don't want to hear, because I'm telling you now. It's almost like they're doing this on purpose. I'm putting my kufi my metal hat on. I'm putting my metal hat on, my tinfoil hat on. It's almost like they're doing this on purpose. Like it's almost like they're intentionally trying to destroy America. How can you be so incompetent? How can you prioritize everyone but Americans? Do they not see the division? Do they not see the depravity? Do they not see the calls of the American citizens? Everything that we're calling for, they're doing the opposite. Everything we're calling for, they're doing the opposite. Everything. By every metric, you can see the collapse of society is on the way. By every metric. We've got Think about the collapse of Rome. What you're doing, you're overexpanding. You're spending billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to wars in different countries, thousands of miles away. And we're not doing anything for the citizens here in the country. We're not doing anything for them. Before you know it, they're going to be saying build a wall on the southern border, not to keep the Mexicans out, but to keep the Americans in, because everyone's trying to get out of here. At this rate, I swear they're doing it on purpose. It's the only thing I can figure. When they talk about, I think they're doing it on purpose, man. America's lost. We still arguing about what bathroom to use. That's the pettiness, the petty confusion that Americans have to put up with, and just watch the depletion of our coffers as our money goes to everyone but us. I don't know how rational thinking man could think that it's anything but intentional. Because what level of incompetence would allow them to be wrong so consistently? Incompetence, you're gonna luck up and be right once. Can you tell me one aspect that the forget the Biden administration, listen, and Biden is senile. He's walking with dementia. He can't get up a flight of stairs. And he's the leader that we're going to re-elect in 2024 while we're on the verge of World War III with Russia and now Israel going against Iran. China is not far behind, looking at Taiwan. North Korea is not far behind, looking at South Korea. This is the guy. This is your king. Okay, got it. Got it. But I'm crazy if I say anything about it. I'm anti-Semitic if I say I don't want my money, my tax-paying dollars, the tax-paying dollars of me and my fellow citizens going to these foreign wars, any of them. Any of them. It's not just Israel, it's not just Ukraine, any of them. I don't want our tax dollars going to any of these wars. Diplomacy is what's needed now. Because truth be told, I respect our military, but at this point, our military leadership, being the commander in chief, is incompetent, and I feel like he's going to lead us into a war that we really don't want. Let me just say it like that: we really don't want. We're really not ready for it. Have you seen the reports on what percentage of American citizens are even capable of serving in the military? Do you know that our young children are so obese? They've got asthma. They're we have our recruiting rates are so low. They don't even know if their boys. There are people joining the military just so they can get a free sex change surgery. Tell me I'm lying. Look it up. Look it up. We've got recruiting so low. People are literally joining the military just so they can get a sex change surgery. They'll be in recovery until they get out, and as soon as they recover, they'll keep getting surgeries until they get out. They won't have to serve. They won't have to go see combat. They won't go see action. They're not ready to pop nothing. They're not even doing PT. They're not even doing PT. And you telling me this isn't intentional? You telling me this isn't intentional? They're just that incompetent. All right, all right. Well, listen. I appreciate everyone watching. I need to go drink some ice water because I'm about to get hot just thinking about our leadership right now. Y'all appreciate everyone supporting the channel. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button to hear more content just like this. A perspective you probably don't hear every day. All right. Like I said, I appreciate you all. Let me make sure I don't have anything I need to respond to here. All right, cool. Salute. Peace.